T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Atlas engine ignition.
Liftoff of the United Launching Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
From Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, ULA presents live Delta IV launch coverage. At Space Launch Complex 6, a Delta IV rocket is fueled and ready to launch the NROL-47 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. Good afternoon. I'm Mike Underhill. I'm a propulsion engineer at United Launch Alliance on our Human and Commercial Systems team and your host for today's launch. We are currently targeting liftoff today at 1:55 p.m. Pacific Time. In a few minutes, the launch count will enter a planned built-in hold. This hold gives the launch team time to conduct final systems checks and resolve outstanding issues prior to entering the terminal count. At the request of our customer, today's live mission coverage will conclude following confirmation of payload fairing jettison, which is scheduled to occur about 3 minutes after liftoff.
FTS. At this time, we have a go for the special FTS ARM-enabled power relay cycles 4 times.
Copy.
LC, RLM, that one.
Go.
Redline monitor is ready again.
Roger.
We recently received a final briefing from Captain Ross Malagany, the 30th Space Wing's weather officer. The weather is within the launch commit criteria for today's liftoff. Let's take a look at the numbers. The probability of violating launch constraints is 20%, the ground winds are 10 knots out of the north, and the temperature is 64 degrees Fahrenheit. So the weather looks favorable, and we are proceeding towards liftoff with a planned T0 of 1:55 p.m. Pacific. This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. While the team continues final preps, let's take a look at a preview of today's flight.
The following profile details the important events of this mission using approximate times.
We have ignition and we have liftoff of the United Launch Alliance.
The Delta IV RS-68A main engine and 2 strap-on solid rocket motors ignite to lift the vehicle away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, Delta IV begins its initial pitch and yaw maneuvers to attain the proper ascent profile and minimize aerodynamic loads. Delta IV reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound, at 49 seconds. At 55 seconds, the vehicle reaches maximum dynamic pressure. The strap-on solid rocket motors, or SRMs, are jettisoned 100 seconds into flight. Approaching payload fairing jettison, the Delta IV is burning propellant at a rate of more than 1,950 pounds per second, more than 70 miles in altitude, 63 miles downrange, and traveling at a speed of more than 5,400 miles per hour. The payload fairing is jettisoned at approximately 3 minutes, 10 seconds.
ULA is using a Delta IV Medium Plus 5.2 configuration rocket to launch the NROL-47 mission. This is the 36th Delta IV launch since the inaugural flight in 2002 and the 3rd flight of the 5.2 configuration. Built in Decatur, Alabama, the Delta IV Medium Plus 5.2 rocket includes a common booster core powered by an Aerojet Rocketdyne RS-68A engine and 2 orbital ATK solid rocket motors. An Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10B2 engine powers the Delta cryogenic second stage. The payload is protected during ascent by a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. On December 11th, the encapsulated payload fairing was transported to Space Launch Complex 6 and mated to the Delta IV rocket. On January 6th, the mobile assembly shelter was rolled to its launch position. It protects the Delta IV rocket from the wind and fog so common to its location here on California's Pacific coast. At approximately 5 a.m. today, the MST, or Mobile Service Tower, was rolled back, revealing the Delta IV rocket. Using 40 hydraulic cylinders at pressures nearing 3,500 psi, the 10 million pound MST is raised 8 inches to begin the move. Using a carriage transporter system traveling at about a quarter mile per hour, it takes about 25 minutes to roll the MST 300 feet east of the Delta IV rocket. The Delta IV rocket stands 220 feet tall, or about 22 stories, and weighs just over 750,000 pounds fully fueled. The Delta IV RS-68A main engine and 2 solid rocket motors produce more than 1 million pounds of thrust at liftoff.
LC, go.
Second stage, LH stopping, 30-minute conditioning.
Roger.
LC, SOS.
Go SYS.
Best source selector locked on RF and range sources.
Roger.
T-minus 7 minutes.
This is Delta Mission Control. We have a new T0 of 2:05 Pacific Time. We'll keep you updated if it changes.
T-minus 6 minutes.
LC flight control.
Go flight control.
L3 primary steering file, adjust _ Delta Victor 380 _ 05 dot Tango Hotel X-ray with SDL CRC 11 Foxtrot 0 has been verified and loaded into Inca.
Roger. Fuel 2, perform a second stage LH2 fill and drain valve cycle test.
Roger.
LC, RC, Net 1.
Go.
Range is approved. New T0 of 220500 Zulu.
Roger.
LC, this is DCS.
Go.
Just want to say that per Op 50, Step 260, the CDC center body and engine section, DCS GN2 temp has reached that point.
Roger.
T-minus 4 minutes and holding. This is a 10-minute built-in hold.
LC, switch not ready position. ALC, adjust T0 to 22:05:00 Zulu.
In work.
LCALC.
Go.
Sequencer has been set for new T0 of 22:05 Zulu.
Roger. And all personnel clocks have been reset. We are currently just under L minus 25 minutes. We'll work hold items per the L clock.
LC Peony on 1.
Go Peony.
Following our SV8 offset test, I can report CBC helium bottles are at flight pressure. Step 790.
Roger. And for all personnel, this is LC. All steps prior to the hold are now complete. Next open step is Operation 50, Step 1070.
The NRO is a joint organization engaged in the research and development, acquisition, launch, and operation of innovative overhead reconnaissance systems necessary to meet the needs of the intelligence community and the Department of Defense. The NRO is recognized for its transformational intelligence collection systems that are used to develop highly accurate military targeting data, support international peacekeeping and humanitarian relief operations, and to assess the impact of natural disasters. The art for today's mission depicts a classic battle between good and evil and represents the NRO's dedication to mission, military expertise, and camaraderie. The Latin phrase means, "Evil will never prevail," signifying NRO's commitment to national security. Yesterday, I had a chance to catch up with Kara Parks. Kara is a systems test engineer at United Launch Alliance. Let's take a look. Kara, thanks for joining me. So you're a systems test engineer. In that role, what are your day-to-day responsibilities and tasks?
So as a systems test engineer, you get to do a variety of things. You get to process and also perform tests on the rocket to make sure that everything goes as planned when launch day comes around. I'm also a part of the propulsion team and the rotational team here at ULA. So that means that I get to work with all of our different propellants between different hypergoals, hydrogen, liquid oxygen, really cool stuff. And then as a part of the rotation team, that means I get to see all the different pads that ULA has. And every pad kind of has its own interesting challenges and really interesting history as well.
Absolutely. So for the NROL-47 mission, what is your specific focus?
So my specific focus has mostly been on the second stage of the Delta rocket. I've also done some things on the ground, troubleshooting some different systems with our storage tanks and things like that, but a lot of stuff on the second stage. One of the coolest things that I got to do is calibrate the second stage transducers on the tanks. That'll make sure that the customer gets the exact right spot that they need in orbit with the amount of propellants that we put in there.
So that's a lot of the stuff leading up to launch day. But on launch day itself, where are you and what are you doing?
On launch day itself, it's kind of like game day. You know, everybody comes in and they're really excited to go, really focused on all of that kind of thing. And everybody's gone through their procedures very well. They know what they're going to do. We go through a lot of different tests before we even do launch. So we go through a lot of pretend launches, almost with like a video game rocket, sort of. And we have some lucky things that we do, like on the prop row. We'll eat Slim Jims to make sure that everything goes right. I'm not really sure where the origin of that comes from, but it makes us all feel a little better. Gets everybody zeroed in and ready to go.
So I know you were involved in our intern program.
Mhm.
Is that why you work at ULA, or why are you part of our team? Why do you choose to work here?
I work at ULA for three main reasons, I would say. First of all, is that we have some of the most experienced people here at ULA. People who have been through all different types of programs so that you can really learn from and become the best rocket scientist that you can be. I've had incredible mentors here at ULA who have helped develop me and become a better engineer. And then secondly is that I think ULA is at a really good point. We're kind of at a turning point. You know, there's a lot of good potential. There's a lot of good opportunity for young people to come up and take the mantle and to make ULA into whatever it's going to be in the future. And I think that's an exciting thing to be a part of, to get to shape that future. And then last but not least is that I think that ULA has such a strong sense of teamwork. You know, we all really look out for each other, and that's sometimes rare, you know, in a business, that you have teammates that really, you know, look after each other and make sure everything is in line, everybody's watching each other's backs, and that kind of thing.
Well, very well said, and it definitely is an exciting time here at ULA.
Definitely is.
Especially with today's launch. Good luck to you and the team, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Earlier today, I spoke with the NRO's chief historian, Dr. James Outson, about the NRO and their important mission. Dr. Outson, thanks for joining me today.
I'm glad to be here.
Can you tell me a bit about the formation of the NRO and how its mission has evolved?
Yes, I sure can. The NRO actually grew out of an imperative that arose after World War II, and that was to come up with systems that would allow us to understand what our adversaries were up to. Of course, with Pearl Harbor, there was a strategic surprise. We had a good sense that the Japanese would carry out some kind of activity against us, but we just didn't know how or when they would carry out that activity. In the background, there were individuals that were thinking about using space as a vantage point to understand what our adversaries' capabilities were and what their military movements looked like. And for about a 15-year period of time, there were individual scientists that were developing technology that would eventually allow us to go into space and put cameras into space and other kinds of devices that would give us a sense of our adversaries' capabilities. And in the Cold War, this became a really critical imperative that we have some kind of capability to essentially peer over that Iron Curtain or listen over that Iron Curtain. So by the early 1960s, the Navy, the Air Force, and the CIA had independent reconnaissance satellite programs, and they were moving along, and it just made sense to bring those programs into a single organization. So by September of 1960, the National Reconnaissance Office was formed. It was an agreement between Department of Defense and the Central Intelligence Agency to bring all of those programs together into a single organization and allow that organization to develop, launch, and operate the nation's National Reconnaissance satellites. So that's how our organization came about.
So can you expand a little bit on that, on how the NRO fits with the rest of the national intelligence community and how you work with and support their initiatives?
Yes, I sure can. So intelligence is like putting a puzzle together. Quite often we'll have a piece of information here and a piece of information there. And what we try to do is assemble enough pieces of information together so that we get a more comprehensive look at the problem that we're trying to solve. The National Reconnaissance Office historically has provided unique kinds of pieces to that puzzle through imagery collection and through signals collection. So we're able to see and hear things that give us indications of what our adversaries' capabilities look like and how they're using those capabilities, how those capabilities are changing. And that's critical technical information that's assembled along with other sources to give us a more comprehensive understanding of the intelligence problems that we're trying to solve. And that's the role that the National Reconnaissance Office plays by putting up reconnaissance satellites that are able to collect that unique kind of intelligence.
So I know a lot of the information that you deal with is very sensitive, but can you share some of the direct impacts that the NRO has had?
Yeah, historically I can share some things. In terms of current day problem solving, those challenges still remain classified. But just to give you a sense of how critical the programs were, in the early days of the Cold War, as an example, we were trying to understand the Soviets' capability to produce intercontinental ballistic missiles. And because the Soviet Union was a vast denied area, we weren't able to go in and observe directly the infrastructure that they were building, or we weren't able to talk to people that were building that infrastructure. We needed to come up with some kind of reliable means to not only observe what they were doing, but observe over time. And our National Reconnaissance satellites provided that kind of insight through imagery collection and through signals collection. If you go back to the 1960 presidential election as an example, Nixon and Kennedy were debating a question of whether the Soviets were outpacing us in the development of their intercontinental ballistic missiles. What it turns out that our imagery collection satellites were able to image a vast majority of the Soviet landmass. It allowed us to actually count ICBM missile sites. And that answered that question as to whether they had more missiles or fewer missiles than us. Now, why that information was really important, these were very expensive programs, and by understanding the pace of Soviet production, which was slower than our pace of production, we could invest our resources more strategically, both in terms of military requirements, but in domestic requirements as well, and that strengthened the position of the United States. So even though it's a historical example, it's an example of the way the systems are used to increase the nation's defenses and allow the United States to continue to progress in defending its own interests.
Wow, that's really fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for your time and joining us today.
You're very welcome.
The Delta IV NROL-47 mission is dedicated in memory of our colleague and friend, Mike Hewitt. Mike began his career in the late 1970s working on the Delta program and later Atlas following the formation of ULA. He was part of the supply chain team, working for supplier management, program management, and supplier quality. Mike worked with numerous suppliers throughout his career and was known for his troubleshooting, supplier inspections, and oversight. Mike will be forever memorialized with the liftoff of NROL-47.
L-8 minutes.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We remain in the planned built-in hold as preparations for launch continue. In a few moments, launch conductor Scott Barney will poll the launch team for the final go to pick up the countdown. 31 engineers and managers will be polled for system status and readiness to proceed. This is the final status check before launch for all Delta vehicle systems, ground systems, the spacecraft, and the U.S. Air Force Western Range. The vehicle systems readiness poll includes electrical systems, hydraulics, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Let's listen in as Scott Barney performs the final polling of the launch team.
L-7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. First stage systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Second stage systems, locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFF. FTF.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
COM.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Operations support.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
HAZGAS.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
VSC is go.
Anomaly chief.
AC is go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
Launch vehicles ready to launch.
Mission director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count.
L-6 minutes.
MEQ established swing arm lock pins pole.
Active.
Polling is complete, and the launch team has given the go for launch. From T-minus 4 minutes until launch, you will be listening to launch conductor Scott Barney and his team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. At T-minus 4 minutes and counting, the team will enter the terminal count and will begin securing the second stage liquid oxygen tank. At T-minus 3 minutes, 32 seconds, CBC liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen tank securing is started, which includes closing the propellant fill and drain valves. Also at T-minus 3 minutes, 32 seconds, vehicle transfer from ground facility power to its own internal battery power will be complete. At T-minus 3 minutes, the vehicle ordnance system will be armed, and the booster liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen propellant tanks are verified to be at flight pressure and flight level. At 2 minutes prior to liftoff, the team will verify that the hydraulic system is pressurized, as well as confirm booster, DCSS, and flight termination system battery voltages. At T-minus 1 minute, 20 seconds, the team will begin securing the second stage liquid hydrogen tank. At T-minus 60 seconds, the Western Range readiness is verified. At T-minus 50 seconds, the DCSS liquid hydrogen tank is secured at flight level. A final launch vehicle and spacecraft status check is conducted at T-minus 25 seconds. At T-minus 15 seconds, the ROFIs, or sparklers, are ignited to burn off excess hydrogen at the base of the vehicle. Liftoff will occur at T0. After liftoff, you'll hear the voice of Patrick Moore providing launch vehicle ascent data. This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We anticipate releasing the hold in just a few moments.
And counting. 3:55.
Ground pyros enabled.
The countdown clock has resumed, and we are go for launch at 2:05 p.m. Pacific.
$3:30. $3:07. $2:49.
FTS internal.
CBC locks at flight pressure and flight level.
CBC LH2 at flight pressure and flight level.
2 minutes. 1:59.
Internal. Hydraulic pressure at 4,000.
1:55.
Launch sequencer start.
$1:40.
FCS launch enable.
1:37.
FTS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and western range are go for launch.
LC switch not ready.
And this is FC. We received L her aboard at T-minus 85 seconds.
Roger. All personnel go to Operation 90, page 145. LC switch is not ready. Time of recycle, T-minus 125.
In work.
This is Delta Mission Control. As you heard, we are in a hold posture. We will update you as more information is available.
T-minus 4 minutes and holding.
Countdown clock has been reset.
SFAP's inactive, SCS in pre-flight mode.
Roger. Prop lead, evaluate locks recycle and report if ready to restart locks pumps.
Prop systems are nominal. We're ready to proceed with recycle.
Roger. USO, place SRM ignition switch at disable position.
SRM ignition disabled.
VSE, establish LOI DAS recording data terminated.
Copy.
ALC, high-speed cameras to normal.
Normal.
OS, run option 354 to restore flume on test 751, 755, 651, and 655 to their default mode.
Roger.
All stations, recycle systems back to T-4 and holding configuration. Recycle occurred at T-1 minute 25 seconds. Report status at completion.
LC, Prop 1 on 1.
Go, Prop 1.
Yes, sir. Opera 90, step 230. Systems are stable.
Roger.
At Alpha, pneumatics pressure stable.
Roger.
LC, MEQ.
Go, MEQ.
Substep Foxtrot and Oscar, HASGAS, TSM, and swing arm systems ready.
Roger.
LC, FTS.
Go.
Substep Juliet, FTS safe and external.
Roger.
LC, Fuel 2.
Go, Fuel 2.
Per Substep Hotel, Fuel 2, second stage, LH2 conditioning complete.
Roger.
LC Fuel 1.
Go, Fuel 1.
CBC LH2 conditioning active.
Roger.
LC to CCS.
Go.
Per substep November, ECS set point stable.
Roger.
LCAB.
Go.
Substep Papa, airborne electrical vehicle external.
Roger.
LC, flight control.
Go.
Substep Kilo, flight control ready.
Roger.
LC is G.
Go, G.
Substep India, this is ready.
Roger.
LC, this is SE, channel 1.
Go.
SB is on external power and is ready to pick up the count at L-10 minutes.
Roger.
LC, LOX 2.
Go.
Echo, second stage LOX conditioning active.
Roger. ECS LC.
Go ahead.
We have a request to take inner stage to 145 degrees Fahrenheit.
Roger.
LCC.
Go.
Operation step. Patient system cycle task complete.
Roger.
LC, SYS, Lima.
Go.
SYS is ready. C3 is ready.
Roger.
This is Delta Mission Control. Our launch team is working through an issue. We'll share more information as soon as it's available.
Locks 1, LC, that one.
Go.
Yeah, I'm still looking for your recycle status.
Okay, I'm in umbilical fill.
Roger. And HYE, your status?
Status is approximately 2 to 3 minutes from achieving required pressure.
Roger.
LC, this is Locks 1.
Go, Locks 1.
Substep Bravo, CBC locks conditioning active.
Roger. MEQ LC, Net 1.
Go ahead.
For Operation 90, Step 200, establish swing arm lock pins install.
Roger, in work.
LC HYE.
So HYE.
Per substep Delta hydraulic system stable.
Roger. LD, LC, Net 1.
LD on 1.
Recycle is complete. Our earliest supportable start of countdown would be 2224 Zulu for the prop team. And standing by for a resolution of anomaly.
Can you please, LC, clarify start a countdown, or just give me earlier supportable T0?
Or earliest supportable T0 of 2228 Zulu.
Roger, I copy. 22:28 Zulu, earliest supportable T0 for the LV.
Roger.
LCRLM, Net 1.
Go.
Just reporting, red line monitor ready.
Roger.
LC, this is AC on Net 1.
Go, AC.
So at this point in time, it appears, based upon initial summary from the team, that we had two items, specifically the swing arm 1 and swing arm 2 lock pin control relay monitor that are events that are scanned for in the event table. When they were scanned for, they weren't in the proper condition, although physically it does appear that we did have the pins pulled. So the team is investigating that, and will I'll come back to Net 1 with a recommendation for anomaly team discussion. Right now they are scanning through the V41 file to understand what else might be affected by any action we might take. So that's where we're at right now. But
Roger, AC, notify me when ready to assemble the team.
Roger that.
Okay, all console operators maintain situational readiness on your systems. Report to LC any change in status.
Yeah, it appears.
This is Delta Mission Control. As you heard, the launch team is working through an issue associated with red line limits for our swing arm system. As more information is available, we will keep you updated. This is Delta Mission Control. As the launch team investigates the issue, I'd like to share with you a few additional questions that I discussed with Dr. James Outson, the NRO's chief historian. Dr. Outson, welcome back.
Glad to be back with you, Mike.
Can you share a little bit about the NRO's technology development and what it's enabled?
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to. Of course, I can't share current capabilities, but we can go back in time and look at some of the technologies that the National Reconnaissance Office invested in to create successful satellites and how those technologies have transferred into secondary or everyday kinds of uses. Probably an obvious example is imagery from space. In today's world, we're very comfortable with using images from above, so to speak, to get from point A to point B. We're able to do those overlays in our mapping apps and on our cell phones and so forth. And our early investment into that kind of technology now has what I'll call secondary uses in the commercial world and in our everyday lives. So that's a great example of how these investments have rewards that come other than defending the nation's interests. Another great example is mammography. We've been able to invest in technology that allows us to see how our adversaries' capabilities change over time. Well, mammography is an effort to see changes over time as well and to detect changes that are of critical interest. So that technology has transferred over into mammography. There are other great examples. In the beginning, we were in the early national reconnaissance programs, we captured imagery of the poles. And in today's world where we're looking at climate change, we're able to make that imagery available to climate change scientists so that they can look at changes in the polar ice caps. And probably another everyday use of technology is just digital photography. We wanted to capture images more quickly and get them back so they could be processed in times of crisis. In today's world, we're able to take instantaneous images through digital photography, and our investments have had payoffs in that secondary use as well.
Absolutely. So that shared some of the technology development in image capture and assessment. Can you share a little bit about technology development for launch capabilities?
Yeah, I sure can. When the National Reconnaissance Office was established back in 1961, we had a really rapid launch pace. So we were launching satellites, several missions a year, half a dozen missions a year. So that gave us a lot of trial and error opportunities. And from each of those missions, we were able to learn something that improved the chances of success for the next mission. Take something like our early imagery collection program known as Corona. Corona and its variants flew about 145 missions over time, over the 12-year period of the mission. So in the beginning, we had several failures of the early missions, 13 to be exact. But we learned from each of those, and each of those gave us an opportunity to make sure that next time around we wouldn't make mistakes, or we could improve and strengthen in an area of concern or of interest. So our investment in launch and those other kinds of systems that are necessary for having successful satellites have had significant payoffs for the entire enterprise of getting objects from Earth into space. And we all benefit from the sustained investment in space programs that the National Reconnaissance Office has carried out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all those insights and for all your time today.
You're very welcome.
LCAC on net 1.
Go AC.
Yeah, recommend we provide an initial in-brief on the anomaly that kicked us out of the script, or the T-4 count, I should say, to the team on net 6, and I think we may have some answers here shortly as to why that happened and probably the path forward right after that.
Roger. please convene the anomaly team and provide a recommendation. Continuing.
The team is discussing an option forward, and we hope to have new information soon. This is Delta Mission Control. We should have an update in the near future.
LCACN1.
Go ahead,
There is a recommendation from VSE to lower the limit on a yellow limit on EMA. I believe it's on temperature, and I'd like to take that to net 6 to get a quick anomaly team assessment.
Roger. Convenient anomaly team, provide a recommendation.
LC, this is AC on 1, ready to provide an outbrief of the VSE recommendation to adjust EMA temp limits.
Roger. LD net 1.
LD.
MD net 1.
MD.
Proceed.
All right, so because of the extended time here, we're seeing a slightly lower temperature on the EMAs that we want to make sure that at T-minus, when we're in the T-4 count, that we're still within the alarm limit requirements. Those are set for the fleet, so the recommendation is to adjust the lower limit for EMA temps from 20 degrees F down to 12 degrees F. That still protects us in flight because the 12F is for a GSO mission which lasts much longer time, and consequently our mission that's bounded by the GSO mission. So recommendation is to make that adjustment down to 12F. We still have plenty of margin, and LC, that would require adjustment on line items 549 and 551. And that concludes my outbrief, LC.
LC concurs. LD.
LD concurs.
MD.
MD concurs.
Red line monitor, LC.
Go ahead.
Are you ready to make a EMA temp adjustment from 20 degrees Fahrenheit to 12 degrees Fahrenheit for line items 549 and 551?
I'm ready.
Proceed. Report complete.
Going active. LC, RLM.
Go, RLM.
Okay, my lower limit adjustment to 12 degrees on line item 549 and 551 are complete.
Roger.
LC, this is AC on net 1.
Go, AC.
Yes. So without additional detail at this point, but knowing that the range is currently red, recommend we take that to net 6 and determine that course through the anomaly team process.
Roger. Please convene the anomaly team, provide a recommendation. RC, support the AC on net 6 for range discussion.
RC copies.
This is Delta Mission Control. You just heard the launch team discuss resolution of a thermal item due to the extended hold. We are still awaiting an update on the swing arm redline issue and the range, and we'll keep you updated as information becomes available.
and attacked by teens during
LC, this is SC, Channel 1.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the LSIC team was curious to know if the window remaining time is correct.
And SC, there's no reason to believe that window remaining time is not correct.
Yeah, we are expecting a 1700 local window in.
Yep, that's affirmative. 1700.
Yeah, LC, we're showing a 4-minute disparity in that.
Stand by, SC. Fuel 1, LC.
Fuel 1, go.
Okay, at step 910, perform CBC LH2 fill and drain valve cycle test.
Roger.
LOX 1, LC.
Go.
Perform LOX fill and drain valve cycle test. CBC LOX.
Roger.
LC, LD on 1.
Go LD.
LC, LD, and MD have been copying and following that event, and we don't need an out brief on the range safety issue if you're okay with that.
LC concurs.
LC, this is ACN Net 1, ready to provide an outbrief of the swing arm measurement issue that caused us to abort the T-4 count.
Roger, LD Net 1.
LD.
MD Net 1. MD Net 1.
MD Net 1.
Proceed, AC.
All right, when we're in the T-4 count, about T-85 seconds, we were kicked out of the count due to two measurements that were not in the configuration that they were expected to be at the time of an event scan. These are momentary commands, momentary latching commands that then turn back to their original state after they're sent. We did not see any other anomalous conditions as a result of the loss of those two measurements in the event table, and all other things proceeded as expected. So the recommendation from the team in order to proceed into the count is to force those two events to occur as they should within the event table. That will be done by the red line monitor under direction from Denver Engineering, and those are events 30 and 31 LC. With that, all other items should be as expected, and we should be able to proceed into the remainder of the count down to T0. That concludes my outbrief, and LC, that's it.
LC concurs, LD.
LD concurs.
MD.
MD concurs.
MEQ, LC.
Go ahead, LC.
Swing arm lock pins pull.
Active. LC, this is MEQ.
This is Delta Mission Control. As you heard, the launch team has worked through the issues, and we are awaiting an updated T0.
31 per anomaly team direction.
Active. LC, RLM.
Go.
Okay, I've completed the forcing of event 30 and 31.
Roger.
As we await an updated T0 from the launch team, let's take a look at a video highlighting our 2017 launches, 3 of which were for the National Reconnaissance Office.
All right, for all personnel, Net 1, this is ELC. We're currently looking at a go forward T0. All systems maintain readiness. I'll await that new T0 direction.
This is Delta Mission Control. As you heard, we're awaiting an updated T0, and we'll share it as soon as we have it.
LC, LD channel 1.
Go LD.
LC, please coordinate a new T0 of 00:05:00 Zulu.
Roger. 00:05:00 Zulu.
Good copy.
RC, LC, net 1.
RC copy 00:05:00 Zulu.
Roger.
In work.
ALC, LC.
Go ahead.
Please set the clock for a new T0 of 00:05:00 Zulu.
In work.
PM Pacific Time has been established. This is Delta Mission Control. A new T0 of 4:05 Pacific Time has been established.
LC, ALC.
Go.
Sequencer has been set for a new T0 of 00:05 Zulu.
Roger.
LCRC net 1.
Go ahead, RC.
Yeah, range is approved. New T0 00:05:00 Zulu.
Roger. USO, LC.
Go ahead.
Roger. Place SRM ignition enable switch in the enable position.
Enable.
Redline monitor, verify redline monitor and event table are in the correct configuration for terminal count.
Verified.
Flight control, perform launch on time verification.
Launch on time verified.
OS, perform vulnerable data transfer to backup CGLS.
Roger.
LCPLE on 1.
Go ahead, PLE.
Yeah, their swing arm engineers is recommending we put the pins, reinstall the swing arm pins, and pull them back out for the count, a nominal count.
So I think once we force these events, we need to remain in this configuration, or we'll have to repeat that again. I mean, since we're at L-17 and counting, is there a reason we need to reinstall them?
Yeah, he's just saying it reduces risk. Typically, you don't sit this long with the pins pulled.
Also switch to ready position. All personnel return to L-7 status check. Operation 50, step 1270, page 97.
L-14 minutes.
VSE, LC, net 1.
DC on 1.
VSE, I just verified base bending moment instrumentation is active and data is still valid.
Still valid, fully mission capable, recommend placard 6 alpha for launch.
Roger, LWO, LC, net 1.
Is the OWO.
Transition to wind placard 6 alpha for launch at T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
We'll copy 6 alpha.
L minus 12 minutes.
This is Delta Mission Control. We are approaching a new T0 and are fortunate to continue to have favorable weather. We will pull the launch team again in a few minutes.
L minus 10 minutes.
RCLC Net 1. Verify solid radiation limits acceptable for launch.
Verified.
All communications switch to channel 1. All personnel and visitors remain in present position until launch. Maintain operational silence in the LCC. All communications switch to channel 1.
SC, transfer spacecraft to internal power.
Roger.
All steps are complete prior to status check.
L minus 9 minutes. L minus 8 minutes.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We remain in the hold following the launch team resolving all issues identified. In a few moments, Launch Conductor Scott Barney will pull the launch team for the final go to pick up the countdown. 31 engineers and managers will be pulled for system status and readiness to proceed. This is the final status check before launch for all Delta vehicle systems, ground systems, the spacecraft, and the U.S. Air Force Western Range. The vehicle system readiness poll includes electrical systems, hydraulics, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Let's listen in as Scott Barney performs the final polling of the launch team.
L minus 7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. First stage systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Second stage systems, locks.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
COM.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Operations support.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
Gas.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Red line monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Ops safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
BC is go.
Anomaly chief.
AC is go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch director.
The launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count.
L minus 6 minutes.
BSC establish LOI DAS is recording data.
LOI is ready.
And MEQ verifies swing arm lock pins are pulled.
Swing arm lock pins are pulled.
Pulling is complete, and the launch team has given the go for launch. From T-minus 4 minutes until launch, you will be listening to launch conductor Scott Barney and his team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. At T-minus 4 minutes and counting, the team will enter the terminal count and will begin securing the second stage liquid oxygen tank. At T-minus 3 minutes, 32 seconds, CBC liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen tank securing is started, which includes closing the propellant fill and drain valves. Also at T-minus 3 minutes, 32 seconds, vehicle transfer from ground facility power to its own internal battery power will be complete. At T-minus 3 minutes, the vehicle ordnance system will be armed, and the booster liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen propellant tanks are verified to be at flight pressure and flight level. At 2 minutes prior to liftoff, the team will verify that the hydraulic system is pressurized, as well as confirm booster, DCSS, and flight termination system battery voltages. At T-minus 1 minute, 20 seconds, the team will begin securing the second stage liquid hydrogen tank. At T-minus 60 seconds, the western range readiness is verified. At T-minus 50 seconds, the DCSS liquid hydrogen tank is secured at flight level. A final launch vehicle and spacecraft status check is conducted at T-minus 25 seconds. At T-minus 15 seconds, the ROFIs, or sparklers, are ignited to burn off excess hydrogen at the base of the vehicle. Liftoff will occur at T0. After liftoff, you'll hear the voice of Patrick Moore providing launch vehicle ascent data.
T-minus 4 minutes and counting. 3:55.
Ground pyros enabled.
Second stage lock secure at flight level.
The countdown clock has resumed, and we are go for launch.
.307. .249.
FTS internal.
CBC locks at flight pressure and flight level.
CBC LH2 at flight pressure and flight level.
2 minutes, 159.
Hydraulic pressure at 4,000.
Vehicle internal.
155.
Launch sequencer start.
$140,
SCS launch enabled.
$137,
FTS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, payload, ground systems, and western range are go for launch.
$120,
SCU's armed.
SCS count started.
$1 minute.
T-minus 1 minute.
Rock, report range status.
Range is green.
50,
Second stage LH2 secure at flight level.
$30,
Status check.
T-minus
Delta.
30 seconds.
Go NROL 47.
Hold. We have a board at T-minus 27 seconds.
LC not ready. All personnel go to recycle for operation 90.
This is Delta Mission Control.
have a hold
A hold
at
has been
T-minus
called.
26
We will update you as soon as we have new information.
And MEQ, you can go swing arm lock pins to install.
Roger. Swing arm lock pins installed.
LC, flight control ready to set the clock to T-minus 4 and holding.
Roger. ALC, reset the countdown clock to T-minus 4 minutes and holding.
Roger.
SFAP's inactive, SCS in pre-flight.
Roger. PLE, evaluate locks recycle and report if ready to restart locks pumps.
All systems are ready for recycle. LC.
Roger.
We
USO, place SRM ignition switch disable position.
SRM ignition disabled.
Countdown clock is reset to T-minus 4 minutes and holding.
Roger. VSE, establish LOI dash recording data terminated.
Copy.
ALC on LC panel high speed cameras normal.
Normal.
OS, run option 354 to restore Flumon test 751, 755, 651, and 655 to their default mode.
Roger.
All stations recycle systems back to T-minus 4 and holding configuration. Recycle occurred at T-minus 26 seconds. Report status at completion.
LC FTS.
Go FTS.
Substep Juliet, FTS safe and external.
Roger.
LC Prop 1 on.
Go Prop 1.
Upper 90, Step 230. RS-68 system state.
Roger.
LC MEQ.
Go.
Subset Foxtrot and Oscar, has gas, TSM, and swing arm systems ready.
Roger.
LCAB.
Go.
Substep Papa, Airborne Electrical Vehicle External.
Roger.
LCSYS.
Go.
Substep Lima, GC3 ready.
Roger.
C Fuel 2.
Go, Fuel 2.
For Substep Hotel, Fuel 2. Second stage LH2 conditioning active.
Roger.
LC locks 2. Second stage lock conditioning active.
Roger.
LC Fuel 1.
Go, Fuel 1.
CVC LH2 conditioning is active.
Roger.
This is Delta Mission Control. We're still awaiting additional information, and we'll share it as soon as it becomes available.
LC Flight Control.
Go, Flight Control.
Step 230, Substep Kilo Flight Control ready.
Roger.
LC, this is SE, Channel 1.
Go, SC.
SV is on external power and is ready to pick up the count at L-10 minutes.
Roger.
LC, this is GE.
Go, GE.
At step 230, India. Sisters ready.
Roger.
LC at step 230 Alpha, pneumatic pressures stable.
Roger.
LC CME on.
Go.
Operation 90, Step 1, Communication System Cycle Task complete.
Roger.
LC locks 1.
Airlocks 1.
CBC locks conditioning active for
Roger.
substep Bravo.
This is Delta Mission Control. We're still awaiting additional information, and we'll share it as soon as it is available.
Roger. VSC, as well as I believe our prop team, have looked at the cause for the abort out of the T-4 count and recommend we take that to the anomaly team on net 6 and make a recommendation.
Roger. Proceed with the anomaly team.
LCHOE.
OHY.
Substep Delta hydraulic system stable.
Roger.
LC, RLM, net 1.
Go.
Redline monitor, ready.
Roger. ECS, LC, net 1.
ECS on 1.
Get a status on the ECS recycle.
Yeah, per substep November, ECS set points are stable.
Roger.
LCPLE on one.
Go PLE.
We recommend 8 minutes to T0. So that would be 4 minutes before we would be ready to start a T4 count.
Roger. LD, LC, that one.
LD on 1.
System recycle is complete. Earliest supportable T0 from LV systems is 0027 pending anomaly resolution.
Roger, I copy. Recycle complete, and the earliest supportable T0 from the LV is 0027.
Roger, good copy.
This is Delta Mission Control. We're awaiting additional information, but should have an update soon.
PNE, LC, that one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, with the anomaly team interim troubleshooting plan, are you ready to cycle valve 354 per that plan?
PNE's ready.
Roger. You have a go to proceed. Notify me when complete.
Roger.
This is Delta Mission Control. The launch team is conducting a test on a valve in our ground system. We will keep you posted with any updates. This is Delta Mission Control. The launch team is conducting a test on a ground system valve. The weather maintains favorable for us. We'll keep you posted on any updates.
LC, LD on channel 1.
Go LD.
LC, at this time, please coordinate a new T0 of 00:59:00.
Roger. 00:59:000.
Good copy.
Roger. RC, LC network.
RC copy 00:59:00 Zulu in work.
Roger. ALC, please set for a new T0 on the clocks. 00:59:00
In work.
This is Delta Mission Control. The launch team is coordinating a new T0 of 4:59 p.m. Pacific Time.
For new T0 of 00:59 Zulu.
Roger.
LCRC, net 1.
Go.
Range is approved. New T0 005900 Zulu.
Roger. Okay, all personnel clocks are set for the new T0. Current L time is L minus 28 minutes.
This is Delta Mission Control. The launch team is still working towards a T0 of 4:59 p.m. Pacific Time. We will keep you posted with any updates.
LD, this is the MD on channel 1.
LD on 1.
LD, we are scrubbing the launch attempt for today. Proceed with preparations for an attempt in 24 hours.
Roger, MD. LC, please proceed.
Roger, please. We will proceed with 24-hour turnaround. Okay, all personnel, this is LC, will proceed into Operation 80 for scrub detanking operations.
And LC.
Go, ALC.
Roger. At this time, the anomaly team's evaluating any potential special tests we might want to perform prior to initiating detanking.
Roger.
This is Delta Mission Control. It has been confirmed that we will not proceed with Delta 4 NROL-47 launch activities this afternoon. We have a 24-hour recycle, so our next launch attempt will be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific. For the most up-to-date information, please visit ulalaunch.com, follow us at ULA or call 1-877-ULA-4321. This concludes today's broadcast. I'm Mike Underhill. Thank you for joining us.